The Warsaw Heritage Days is a festival that brings many heritage crafters and demonstrators of pioneer life to the Truman Center and draws thousands of guests from around the United States. This event has been held for the last 30 years and is still going strong. In the port of Warsaw, a plethora of tents with crafters and vendors sets up for the celebration. In the inside and outside of every venue, one can find demonstrators and vendors. However, if crafter vendors are more your speed, then you're guaranteed to find bliss in the port and the city center.
My name is John Wilkinson. We're from Washington, Illinois, near Peoria. And this is our first time down here. It will not be our last. We love this place. What I make and sell is replicas of the old antique wooden fishing lures. They worked for 100 years. Long before everything was made in Taiwan out of plastic, they were made out of wood. I got a 2 fish a week habit, and I'm a woodworker. It made sense to put the two together, and it beats the heck out of a real job. I've been making lures for about 10 years. Been selling them about 4. I do some flies, I tie flies, but I gotta tell you, they look like they hit a windshield. They catch fish though. I have a love for these old wooden lures. I got enough white in my beard, I've fished with every one of these old lures at one time or another. On my table I have 3 lures that set world records. So, come on, that works. They have 2 things that are different than the rest of them. One is they have a more subdued sound than their plastic cousins. The other one, they were alive, growing in a tree not long ago. They got a soul. This one was called the Pikey Minnow, made in 1920. You'll notice that I call it the Trevor Creek. I just don't want to get sued. So I changed the names on most of them. And it set the muskie world record in 1949, kept it for almost 50 years. This one was originally called the Cisco Kid, and in the 1950 model, that one still holds the Tiger Muskie line weight world record. This one is a replica of an old 1938 jitterbug. My opinion is that it's probably caught more bass than all of these put together. And then next to that, wow, the hula popper. Originally made by the same company. Throw that out next to some lily pads and see what happens. It's fantastic. Gina puts the paint job on them and goes from nice to beautiful. That's what
We are a part of the Higginsville Rehabilitation Center. We work at vocational services. We do training for disabled Missouri citizens. And they have all types of disabilities, mental and physical. And we teach them crafts. We also have contract work, which they do, and they earn money for everything that they do. We come to the craft sales to sell the product that they make. We have come here for like 3-4 years, and each year we are we seem to sell more, so we just keep coming back. The money that we sell here today will go back into that fund so they can earn more money in the future. One of the items that we have and carry and sell a lot of is a pop can cozy, which one of our consumers came up with the idea. He got tired of his pop getting cold on the weekend when he sat on the patio. So anyway, we sell a lot of his item, and he gets money every time we sell one. So.
My name name's Michael Flippin. I make chainmail jewelry. I twist the wire to make the little rings, and then I weave them together into various different patterns, some of which I've actually come up with on my own, some of which have been around for centuries. I use a drill to actually twist the wire onto whatever size rod of ring I want to use. Like this particular one I'm holding here is an 1/8 inch inside diameter ring, so I've got an 1/8 inch diameter rod that I use to make the size on, and then I'll sit there with a pair of wire cutters and just cut each individual ring out. Actually, I'm from here originally. I used to live in a little town just south of here called Fristow. I've been doing chainmail for 15 years. This is one of the things I enjoy most to do. It's kind of my zen.
Shuttles are available for anyone with special needs or simply elderly. And a transport bus is available for an affordable fee and runs every 5 minutes or less between the attractions at the port and the Truman Visitor Center, where all the demonstrations are held.
My name is Juanita Cornett from Annabis, Missouri. We've been down here 3 or 4 times.
Fantastic. What keeps you coming back every year?
The visitor center up there with all the antique and old stuff.
What's your favorite thing about it up there?
Homemade butter and rolls and homemade fudge.
All the food.
So what would you recommend for people that come down here? To go down to the harbor or to go mainly to the visitor center?
I like the visitor center. They make brooms, everything, candles, everything up there. They got animals, big old oxen, everything up there. They got guns and what's that thing they call they do it?
They split log.
They split logs up there.
So
Old
that's where they
guns.
do the split log?
Yeah.
Up there at the visitor center, yes.
And you guys have seen that before?
Yes.
How's your experience on that?
It's, it's interesting, very interesting. But they got crafts and stuff up there too you can look at too. Earrings, jewelry, anything you want up there. But they got the craft things just like down here at the harbor. It's kind of antique crafts. But we enjoy it very much. And they got your food stands that you can get something to eat up there if you need it or something like that too. But we like it up there. We really enjoy it.
The historical demonstrations of pioneers is more of what you were looking for, then the Visitor Center is the place for you. Demonstrations range from the traditional basket weaving like John, who has been doing it for 4 generations, to the more exciting log splitting.
The mountain man was trappers for the beaver, and they would be in the 1820s up to the 50, and that's when they were trapped out, all the beaver and everything, so it was pretty much over with. We always show and tell all the items that we have. It should be displayed and showed mainly for the kids to know what this stuff is really like. The lifestyle was pretty hard on the mountain men because most of them, they didn't really know anything about trapping. So when they finally went west out in the area to trap, They had to set all their traps out in cold water mostly, and the age of the mountain man wasn't very long really, because they would die at a young age or conflict with Native American Indians being on their land. The trappers would have never survived out if they didn't learn from the Indians their way of living, because they showed them a lot how to survive. Come up here and look. Get down here and look here, and I'll see if I can get him to come out. Is he coming out?
What is it? No.
All right, I'm gonna tap one more time. Get down there and look. Come on, get
Is he
down.
in a mouse?
You gotta get down
where
and
you see
look.
him. All right, gotta get down. All right, I'm gonna see if he comes out.
There you go.
Oh, that grumpy little devil.
That was gross.
Would a mountain man play a dirty trick on you?
This is a powder wedge, and the history behind log splitting, back in the days when you didn't have chainsaws and stuff, the only way you had to make firewood was a crosscut saw and split it up with sledges and wedges. Any big old log, a huge big tree like that or bigger, like these logs down here, it may be real gnarly and stringy, especially an elm or a sycamore. You would just beat yourself to death trying to split up the wood. So when they thought they had one of the coldest days in winter, about 15, maybe even 20 below zero, these guys would get together and they'd take their coffee pots and their sandwiches and they'd go from farm to farm. They'd build a fire and heat their coffee and they'd just have a good old time. It'd be like the 4th of July for them. They would go from farm to farm and split, and each guy would buy his own powder and they would split the logs. So that's how the powder wedge came into being, the use for that. When they split these logs into smaller pieces, they take the horses and drag them up to the house and cut them up.
Cannons get fired every hour after the log splitting spectacle, and everyone is welcome to watch.
And a trust between both them and myself in how they will behave. They respect me and I respect them. We train with positive reinforcement. G around. Levi, G around. Levi, G around. G around. Levi, G around. Levi, G around. G around. Sam, G around. Whoop. Whoop. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back up. Whoa. Good boy. Backing these animals, or any animal for that matter, takes a great amount of trust in the person that's doing the driving. They cannot see directly behind them, and for all they know, I could be backing them off into a hole. These guys will back down a creek bank so that I can hook a log to a chain and drag it out because they trust me.
We have a hawk block set up basically about 6 paces from the hawk block. We make a line, and that is an average one turn of the hawk in the air. We use 2 different types of hawk. We use an English hawk, the one on the right, and a French hawk. You see how it bows up. It's got a little more blade to it. They throw different from each other. Basically, when we throw it just like a baseball. We follow through and throw it easy, and usually the hawk will stick itself. So.
To wrap up the viewing, one can take a relaxing stroll around town or simply enjoy the beauty of the lake. The celebration is yearly, and you can find more details about it online at www.warsawheritagedays.com.